The reception will take place at her parents' home in the English countryside, where a giant glass enclosure has been constructed for the reception, where 300 guests have been invited. The guest list for the church ceremony is a little more restricted. Only 100 will attend.
For years, Pippa Middleton has remained one of the most fascinating figures near the royal family. She was close enough to witness the royal glamour, but quiet enough to keep her private life hidden. Behind those loud headlines lies a stunning ranch house, a growing family, and a massive fortune. But how does she actually live in 2026? What secrets are hiding behind the heavily guarded doors of her exclusive world? As we explore her home kids and massive net worth, let us know, would you choose royal fame or her quieter lifestyle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to subscribe so you never miss the latest updates on royal family drama. Long before eager photographers tracked her every move and newspapers fought to publish her name, Pippa was just a normal girl growing up in a tight-knit family with big dreams and a pretty ordinary life. The public might have first noticed her at one of the most famous weddings in history, but the foundation of her entire life was built years before that unforgettable day. Born on September 6, 1983 in Reading, England, Philippa Charlotte Middleton was the middle child of Michael and Carol, alongside her big sister Catherine, who would eventually grow up to become the Princess of Wales. And her younger brother James Pippa grew up in a busy household full of raw energy, ambition, and deep family values. Her closest friends described her as cheerful, adventurous, and absolutely full of life. Both parents worked in aviation. Her father was with British Airways and her mother was a flight attendant. Everything changed when Carol took a massive gamble on a small business. What started as a simple party supplies company called Party Pieces slowly transformed into a major success story. Once the business took off, it opened up massive opportunities the family never expected, giving them a much more comfortable lifestyle. The kids were always encouraged to work hard and chase after their goals. Pippa went to several highly respected schools, quickly earning a reputation for being incredibly smart and very athletic. From tennis and hockey to skiing on the slopes, she loved every single competition. That determination won her respect, a drive she carried straight into adulthood. Later, she studied English literature at the University of Edinburgh. There, she made close friends with people from all kinds of different backgrounds, including some incredibly wealthy, influential families. But even with those massive connections, Pippa wanted to build her own path, long before the royal spotlight found her. She worked hard in event planning and PR, loving the pure independence of living life entirely on her own terms. Back then, nobody could have guessed how fast her world would flip. A woman who easily blended into normal crowds was about to face massive, relentless public scrutiny. But while fame changed everything, it simply couldn't protect her from the painful struggles that happened behind closed doors. When it came to marriage, was Pippa's perfect love story really as easy as it looked? Or were there unexpected struggles waiting right under the surface? Don't look away, because what we reveal next is a side of her life almost nobody ever mentions. The day she was noticed, there are rare moments in history that quietly alter a person's life forever. For Pippa, that exact moment arrived on April 29, 2011, as millions gathered to watch the wedding of William and Kate. A massive royal event watched by millions globally, where every single detail was meticulously planned. Every single camera watched the future king and bride. Yet, amid all the grandeur, a completely different figure suddenly captured the world's imagination. Carrying the long flowing train of Kate's wedding gown, Pippa wore a simple but stunningly elegant white Alexander McQueen dress. She wasn't directly in the spotlight, but somehow every eye turned toward her. Within hours, major newspapers, magazines, and TV channels couldn't stop talking about this woman nobody had ever noticed before. Headlines praised her natural confidence and charm. Social networks exploded over her effortless grace and style. From London to New York and all the way to India, people wanted to know everything about Kate's sister. Overnight, she went from a hard-working businesswoman in her family's company to a massive global celebrity. But that fame came with a steep price. Paparazzi followed her everywhere, turning quick coffee runs into front-page news. Every outfit she wore was picked apart. Every smile sparked massive debate. Even her close friendships and dating life became absolute obsessions for the public. Looking back years later, Pippa openly admitted that dealing with that sudden heavy spotlight was incredibly tough. Yet she flat out refused to let one single bridesmaid dress define her entire life. Instead of just riding the wave of her overnight fame, she kept working hard at Party Pieces, the family business she had supported for years. But her creative drive soon pushed her toward a completely different venture, writing. In 2012, she published Celebrate, a book packed with practical tips for planning memorable family gatherings and big social events. Sure, some critics mocked the idea of a royal bridesmaid writing a party planning guide, but everyday readers genuinely appreciated her down-to-earth, sensible advice. Before long, she expanded her reach, writing columns for major lifestyle magazines and sharing her personal take on wellness and healthy living. Through pure persistence, Pippa slowly built a solid reputation that had nothing to do with her royal connections. She was no longer just known as Kate Middleton's younger sister. She had built a life that was entirely her own. But behind that flawless, polished public image, a very different chapter of her life was quietly unfolding. Her love life, quite frankly, drew just as much intense media focus as her work. Relationships were picked apart by the press breakups, became front-page news, and the endless rumours never seemed to stop. Right when it felt like the constant media circus would ruin any hope for a normal personal life, a familiar face from her past suddenly stepped back in. Could this man who knew Pippa long before the world ever learned her name be the calm, steady partner she needed? So what is the real untold story of the man who changed her life forever? Stick around to find out. Let us look past the money at James Matthews. Pippa Middleton might have married into a world of absolutely staggering wealth, but the man standing beside her has a personal history that goes way beyond luxury and famous family connections. People close to James Matthews describe him as incredibly private and grounded, a man deeply devoted to his family, but his own journey to the top has been anything but normal. Born back in August 1975, James actually chased pure adrenaline long before he ever cared about money or becoming a highly respected businessman. He spent his youth tearing around professional racetracks, fully dreaming of becoming one of the biggest names in motorsports. In the mid-90s, he proved he had real talent by taking home the trophy at the British Formula Renault Championship. He followed that up with major wins in the competitive Euro Cup, proving to everyone he possessed the sheer drive and skill to compete on the world stage. But eventually, James decided to trade the deafening roar of racing engines for the fast-paced, high-stakes world of global finance. It was a massive career pivot, but it completely redefined his entire future. Over the next few years, he built a powerful reputation as a highly successful hedge fund manager, heading up major investment deals and firmly establishing himself as a serious heavyweight in the corporate world. Growing up in a wealthy family definitely helped open doors, but actually keeping that success alive required serious discipline, intense focus, and real ambition. His father, David Matthews, was already a highly successful self-made businessman, and James eventually inherited deep connections to the sprawling, historic Glen Affric estate up in Scotland. Yet despite all the massive wealth surrounding him, close friends and family still describe James as an incredibly normal, down-to-earth guy. The intense adrenaline rushes he once got behind the wheel of a race car have been traded for much quieter, simpler pleasures. Think skiing trips, tennis matches, quiet walks, and sweet moments with his wife and children. Honestly, this shared love for a quiet life is likely what brought him so close to Pippa Middleton. In fact, the two had been close friends for years before any real romance finally sparked. They reportedly started dating around 2012 before getting engaged about 4 years after that, and they officially tied the knot in 2017 in a lavish ceremony, watched by millions around the globe. Together they have built a private family life that is carefully kept out of the harsh media spotlight. Their eldest son Arthur arrived in 2018, followed by their daughter Grace in 2021, and their youngest little girl Rose in 2022. Even though the public is incredibly curious about the kids due to their royal cousins, Pippa and James have kept a completely united, protective front. Unlike other celebrity parents, they almost never post family photos or share personal stories. They want their kids to just enjoy a normal, simple childhood, playing outside, hanging out with friends and going to school, growing up completely free from heavy headlines or royal pressures. Even though their cousins happen to be Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, Pippa has made a very conscious choice to keep her own family on a much quieter path, far away from towering palace walls and blinding paparazzi cameras. And that is where another fascinating piece of their story truly begins. Tucked behind heavy closed gates lies a massive estate that perfectly mirrors their private values, quiet lifestyle, and deep need for absolute normalcy. But what secrets does this quiet countryside retreat hold about the life Pippa has built so carefully? Let us take a closer look at their hidden family estate. Let us take a step inside the grand property that so many believe perfectly mirrors Pippa Middleton's deeply private lifestyle. Far from the constant noise of the city and the endless media spotlight that follows royal relatives, stands an incredible countryside manor known as Barton Court. This is not just some massive country house. It is a breathtaking Georgian mansion featuring 32 rooms tucked away near the quiet village of Kintbury in West Berkshire. Back in 2022, Pippa Middleton and her husband James Matthews reportedly bought the estate for around $15 million. Some reports even suggest the final price tag was much higher. But what makes Barton Court truly captivating is its rich history. The sweeping estate was once owned by the famous designer Sir Terence Conran, who poured years into restoring and perfecting its beauty. Built back in the 18th century, the home carries the classic charm of traditional British country life, with its gorgeous red brick exterior and grand sweeping proportions. The traditional architectural features create a space that feels incredibly elegant, yet deeply welcoming. But the greatest luxury here is not the beautiful design, it is the absolute privacy. Wrapped in rolling green hills, endless open fields and thick woodlands, Barton Court provides a level of peace that is hard to find. Tucked away from prying eyes, it serves as a safe sanctuary, where their family can grow up far from flashing cameras and public gossip. On the inside, the home apparently balances luxury with real warmth. While it looks highly refined, it seems designed first and foremost for family life. Pippa has always had a reputation for hosting lovely social gatherings and sharing special milestones with her closest friends. Many suspect this massive house regularly hosts quiet dinner parties, holiday celebrations, and sweet private family moments. Now, with 3 young children, Pippa and James appear ready to embrace a much slower lifestyle. Instead of staying in crowded London, they chose the quiet of the country. Their daily routine is said to focus on simple joys, like exploring the outdoors with the kids, slow mornings in the garden, and quiet evenings together as a family. Still, while Barton Court showcases the life she has built, it brings up another fascinating question. Running a massive estate, raising 3 kids, and living this comfortably takes serious money. So, how wealthy is Pippa Middleton in 2026? Has her personal bank account grown far beyond public expectations? What are the actual sources of this massive wealth? Let us look at the details of Pippa's 2026 net worth. It is more surprising than you think, the sheer scale of their wealth. When most people hear the name Pippa Middleton, they still picture the stunning bridesmaid who stole the show at the royal wedding. But as time has passed, a different question has taken centre stage: just how rich are Pippa and her husband, James Matthews? The reality might surprise you. In 2026, their joint net worth easily places them among the wealthiest power couples in Great Britain. However, their massive fortune is not just about trust funds. It is a combination of sharp business deals, smart investments, inherited family money, and years of hard work Her husband James Matthews is widely known as a financial heavyweight. Long before he wed into the Middleton family, he had built a formidable reputation in the cutthroat world of finance. He actually co-founded Eden Rock Capital Management, a highly successful hedge fund located in London's ultra-wealthy Mayfair district. By spending years managing money for high-profile clients, the firm expanded rapidly and became a massive player in the global financial sector. Interestingly, James did not start his working life behind a desk. As a young man, he was a professional race car driver before shifting gears into investment banking. That dramatic career shift paid off handsomely. His family history adds another massive layer of wealth. James is the son of David Matthews, the wealthy developer who bought the legendary Eden Rock Hotel in St. Bart's, a stunning Caribbean hotspot known for hosting Hollywood stars and billionaires. The Matthews family also owns a massive Scottish estate, giving James a deep connection to old money and high heritage. Thanks to these incredible business ventures, high-end properties and massive investments, multiple reports estimate James Matthews' net worth to be in the billions of dollars. But Pippa has never lived in the shadow of her husband's money. Over the last decade, she has steadily built up her own private wealth. She spent years working for her family's company Party Pieces, while launching successful ventures in high-end event planning and public relations. In 2012, she released her debut book Celebrate, focusing on the art of hosting memorable parties. That book reportedly landed her a massive advance, firmly cementing her status way beyond her royal ties. Soon after, she branched out into lifestyle writing for major papers and running her own commercial projects behind the scenes. Her next book, Heartfelt, showed a different side packed with healthy recipes and wellness tips. Alone, Pippa is worth tens of millions, but paired with James, their combined fortune climbs to another level entirely. Their vast empire includes a country estate, highly valuable, real estate across London, sprawling lands in Scotland, Caribbean resort stakes, and countless high-stakes investments. Yet the most fascinating thing is the quiet way they choose to live. Even with access to private jets, elite island escapes, and absolute luxury, Pippa and James almost never show off their massive wealth. Instead, they protect their 3 kids from the constant glare of the cameras, choosing quiet family life over fame. But beneath those quiet country strolls and heavily guarded family moments lies a world of unimaginable elite privilege. From breathtaking country estates to ultra-exclusive getaways, what does the daily life of this powerful family actually look like? And is there even more hidden behind those grand palace-adjacent doors? Don't look away, because what we are revealing next is a side of them almost nobody ever sees. Balancing luxury and tight privacy, Pippa Middleton and James Matthews live a life most only dream of. From private jets and high-end supercars to a massive country estate, their daily existence is a masterclass in wealth. But the real mystery is not what they own, it is how masterfully they avoid the constant gaze of the public. James Matthews has always had a strong connection to speed and high-end machines. Long before he conquered high finance, he raced cars professionally, and that burning passion never truly faded. At their 2017 wedding, he and Pippa made a massive statement, driving to the reception in a vintage Jaguar E-Type convertible. It was way more than just a ride. That car spoke to his racing past, his refined taste, and his love for timeless engineering. Today, their daily lives still carry those high-performance hints. Rumour has it their personal garage holds several top-tier luxury Range Rovers, high-powered Porsche models, and an imposing Mercedes G-Wagon. These are not just flashy status symbols, but highly practical vehicles for hauling 3 active kids around the countryside. Occasionally, James is spotted driving ultra-fast supercars, proving that old competitive racing spirit is still alive beneath his quiet family exterior. Yet their ultimate luxury is not found on the open road, it is how they fly. They supposedly have constant access to a multi-million-dollar private jet, letting them slip quietly out of London, heading to Scotland or exclusive sunny getaways without dealing with crowded airport terminals or screaming paparazzi. To them, travel is about family, not showing off. Their absolute favourite escape is the legendary Eden Rock Resort in St. Bart's, a world-class luxury retreat owned by the Matthews family. Famous for private white sand beaches, sweeping ocean views and A-list guests, it is a perfect haven for them. Out there life slows down, allowing intimate family moments to unfold far from prying eyes. They also spend weeks at the Glen Affric estate in Scotland, a massive wilderness sanctuary. There the kids run wild, exploring nature, riding horses, fly fishing and hiking the hills. It is a rare, quiet kind of luxury measured not by cash, but by endless space, silence and total freedom. Their travels include ski trips in Switzerland, low-key holidays in France and hidden retreats. Yet one thing never changes. They never turn these getaways into a public show, completely avoiding social media and cameras, protecting those private family memories. Daily life at Barton Court feels like a complete retreat. On their sprawling country estate mornings start in the fresh air where their children, Arthur, Grace and Rose, explore massive open spaces, swimming, tennis and playing with animals, growing up in a world both highly privileged and remarkably grounded. Pippa is known for healthy living and simple, natural decor. Fresh flowers, cosy family settings and calm, quiet spaces define their warm home life. Though tied to designer fashion, her everyday style remains remarkably simple and highly practical. Despite his busy career in London, James is deeply involved in the children's routines, using evening walks and quiet talks to balance work and fatherhood. And yet behind this seemingly perfect, wealthy existence, privacy and routine, deeper unseen pressures still linger. How do they protect this carefully built world while living under constant, grinding curiosity? And what happens when their private life and public expectations begin to collide in ways they simply cannot control? What hidden, heavy struggles come with maintaining this world? And can real privacy truly survive forever under the crushing weight of fame and fortune? Stay tuned for Pippa's private struggles. Behind the perfectly calm image of Pippa Middleton's life, there is a deep side of her story that is rarely seen by the public. From the outside, everything looks almost completely perfect. A massive country mansion, a deeply loving family, 3 young children, and a life quietly supported by millions in family wealth. But behind that beautiful, peaceful picture, there is a constant, heavy pressure that never really goes away. The main reason is her very close connection to the British royal family. Being the younger sister of Catherine, the Princess of Wales, means that Pippa can never fully live a quiet, private life, no matter how desperately she tries. Every single step she takes often becomes immediately linked back to the royal family. Something as simple as a morning school run, a quick family outing, or even a quiet walk can suddenly become a major media story. Intense attention from pushy photographers and online platforms has closely followed her for years. Even when she is trying her best to give her children a normal upbringing, there is always that lingering fear of being constantly watched. Pippa has made it incredibly clear in several reports that she wants her 3 children, Arthur, Grace and Rose, to grow up like completely ordinary kids. She wants them to enjoy basic freedom, real friendship and school life, without constant, unwanted attention. But in reality, that simple goal is highly difficult to protect when your family name carries so much massive public interest. This constant heavy pressure is one of the main reasons she and her husband, James Matthews, chose to build a much quieter life deep in the countryside. When they purchased Barton Court, a massive 145-acre estate, it was meant to be a perfectly safe escape from the outside world. A beautiful place surrounded by peaceful nature, hidden far from busy city life, and safe from unwanted attention. For a while it really seemed like the perfect solution. However, even that quiet dream of privacy came with challenges. An old public footpath known as Mill Lane ran directly through part of their land, and local residents had actively used it for many years. When the couple decided to close it off and install private locked gates for security reasons, it quickly escalated into a serious dispute. Frustrated neighbours argued that the path was vital for daily travel and access to the local village church, while others felt totally excluded from land they had walked on for generations. The intense disagreement eventually reached legal discussions, and even now, the complex situation has not been fully resolved. At the exact same time, other heavy pressures have followed them. One of their countryside business ventures faced serious financial losses and had to be sold, while renovation plans on certain properties were heavily delayed. These frustrating setbacks showed that even a life filled with massive wealth and opportunity does not always move smoothly. Through all of this, Pippa has remained deeply focused on protecting her family and maintaining some sense of a normal, quiet life, even when critical public opinion and outside challenges continue to grow around her. And just when it seems like all the attention might finally fade, something completely new always brings her name back into the spotlight again, raising a much deeper question that many people are now actively asking: why does Pippa's name keep appearing in the news again and again? Let's explore the real cost of this attention. From a distance, Pippa Middleton's life appears almost completely flawless. A grand country estate, immense financial comfort, 3 young children and a marriage that seems picture perfect, all combine to create the image of a peaceful, successful life. But behind this carefully polished surface lies a harsh reality filled with pressure, ongoing conflict, and constant public attention that never truly seems to fade. Since moving into Barton Court with her husband James Matthews, the couple has faced some intense ongoing struggles over basic privacy. One of the absolute most talked about issues began shortly after they purchased the massive estate back in 2022, when they decided to close off an old public footpath known as Mill Lane. Their ultimate goal was simple: to protect their home and young family from strangers passing way too close to their private space. They installed strong gates, added clear warning signs, and heavily reinforced boundaries around the property. However, this sudden decision quickly created intense tension with local residents. For many years, people had used the path as part of their daily routine. Some walked their dogs there every day, others used it as a quick shortcut to nearby places like the historic village church. When their access was blocked, angry villagers were forced to take much longer and less safe roads, leading to massive frustration and anger deep within the community. The disagreement escalated further when the Ramblers Association stepped in and brought the case directly to court. Even years later, in 2026, the complex dispute remains unresolved through a public inquiry. Several legal voices have suggested that long-established public paths cannot simply be removed for personal privacy reasons alone, which has made the whole situation even more complicated. As the legal case continued, public opinion became sharply divided. Several angry neighbours accused Pippa of pulling family strings and using royal influence to get her way, hinting she thinks local rules simply do not apply to her. But others fiercely defended her, arguing any protective parent would want to keep random strangers away from their family home. But for Pippa and James, the whole clash feels deeply personal, all about protecting their kids and securing their home. Yet, this is not the only heavy drama dogging their steps. Back in 2021, the couple invested in Bucklebury Farm Park, a scenic countryside spot featuring a petting zoo, deer safari, rustic cafe and farm shop. Initially, it seemed like a winning bet on rural family fun, but the harsh reality was quite different. Whispers quickly spread that the venture was drowning in debt, losing massive amounts of cash. By 2026, word leaked that they were putting the property up for sale, sparking fresh backlash and proving that royal star power cannot magically guarantee a successful business. Meanwhile, older skeletons from Pippa's past keep crawling back into the spotlight. Take that 2012 incident in Paris, widely mocked as the toy gun scandal, where a silly car joke with friends got caught on camera by chasing paparazzi. Even though it was just a silly, harmless prank, those shocking photos spread across the internet like wildfire. The snapshots became a massive global story, thrusting her deep into the media circus. And alongside these big dramas, petty criticisms still haunt her. People are always loudly gossiping about her outfits and her physical appearance. And they even made fun of her party-planning book, though some defended the project as a very clever way to build her personal brand. Whenever she occasionally attends high-profile royal events, the rumour mill starts spinning, with every single look and gesture dissected way more than any normal person would ever have to tolerate. So, what is your take on Pippa Middleton's highly scrutinised private life, particularly when she is away from the royal spotlight? Tell us below and remember to like and subscribe.